Okay, so here comes the last part. What we're gonna do is take our last strap and find the middle again. There's that middle fold we made. And I like to put it so that the V is already pointing down like this, and set it down on the table like that. Then I take my mask, and here's the bottom that we pinned, and here's the top. And I'll just take the top and tip it down so it touches the table, and we're gonna do the same process we did before, where we find the center of the strap right here, and the center of the mask, which is easy to tell on the top because it has a seam. And we're gonna line those up together and pin the front in place. The easiest way I have found to add the metal strip is to do it at the end by just removing a pin and sliding it in instead of trying to line it up as you go. So I'm going to pin the whole top into place. And I'll do it the same way I did before, where I lay it down and I kind of open this up to make sure it's all the way in, like it's hitting the center line of the binding tape strap. And once it's nice and smooth, I pin it. And then I'll do the same all the way along the edge. And I'll do one on the side, just outside the face of the mask, just to hold it in place. And do the same thing on the other side. So lay it down, open it up, make sure it's kind of flat, and start to pin that. I know you can't see it because my hand's in the way, but I'll show you soon. So here, there it is. I'm just gonna keep pinning. There's one pin, and two pins, and here comes the last one here. So that's all connected on the bottom there. So now we have, well, it's actually the top of the mask. So now that it's in place, let's flip it so it's correct. Here's the bottom, here's the top, and we still have that pin in the nose to help keep that lined up. I like to leave it there until I'm done sewing. If you're afraid that it's gonna get stuck in your machine and that your needle might hit it, you can move it farther away. That's not a bad idea. But then what happens is I take my little piece of nose metal and I come back to the inside of the top part of the mask, and I actually take out one of the pins that I already put in. And what I'm doing is sneaking it in into the green part, into the binding tape, and I'm trying to get it on top of the liner so that it's farther, it'll sit farther away from the skin. So I'm pushing it into this space between the pin and the edge. And sometimes it gets stuck because, remember, we have all those little hems that we made when we made our darts. So if it's not working, you don't have to hide it there. You can just set it right in here. And I just push it gently until it goes through, and then it's hiding in. So you didn't see much of that, but basically it's hiding in here. Then I cover it back up and I close it up again with a pin. Just like this. So that when I sew it, the sewing line is going to follow basically where the pins are, and it'll trap it right in there. Now, as I was doing that, it did kind of get pushed toward the bottom of the mask. So I just kind of wiggle it like a caterpillar back towards the middle. If this is the middle of the nose, I try to make sure that the metal part is equal on both sides of the nose. So that's kind of where the metal ends. And it looks pretty even on both sides. So that's, you can kind of adjust it by pulling and pushing. So that's how you put it in the middle. Now you're ready to sew all along the bottom strip, all along the top strip. Before you do that, make sure that you go and pin the rest of your strips and tuck and fold all your ends in like that so that they'll be ready to sew.